Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti. Such a big noise today. Akshay Tritiya. So much of, commotion. And it's been building up for the last 1 week. And what is interesting is, we are so convinced to do exactly the opposite of what the Shastras have asked us to do on this day. This is the day of Akshay Tritiya. 4 major events happen on the same day, they say. One is the Parashurama avatar. That is on this day. Then this is the day where Sudama was blessed by Krishna. I suppose you are all familiar with the story. And this is the day when Adi Shankara, as a child, gave out this Kanakadara Stotra, where there was a shower of golden gooseberries showered in the house for 1 full muhurta. It's a very popular one. And what we fail is, the other one is, this is the day which Brahma is supposed to have commenced the starting of Treta Yuga. Treta Yuga commencement happened on this day. What you are supposed to do on this day is to do puja to Mahalakshmi. Lakshmi puja is supposed to be done, where you take out all the ornaments that you have in the house and decorate Lakshmi, and the Mahaprasada to be distributed to people. Like usually we find in the temples, the Perumal temple, if you go, you would carry 1 tulsi mala. They will take that mala, offer it to the god, and then they will take out a portion of that and give it to you as prasada. And you take that tulsi leaf and come back. Similarly, what you are supposed to do is offer everything to Mahalakshmi, and then a portion from that is supposed to be given as dhanam. Akshay Tritiya is a day to give dhanam. Gold dhana should be given today. You are supposed to give away not acquire. What we are doing is exactly opposite today. All this, business people have convinced the entire society. The people have been standing in queue from yesterday night to take, to buy, and pre-ordered Rana they are taking now. The billing will happen on this date, but order would be taken yesterday itself. Akshay Tritiya is not the day to acquire gold. It's the day you are supposed to distribute gold. Distribute that prasad. Whatever you offer. And usually Mahalakshmi favorite. Where, curd rice, that is favorite for her. Majjige, all is favorite for Mahalakshmi. So that's what you are supposed to distribute today. It's known for, there are certain days which are designed for dhanam. One such is Akshay Tritiya. Sad part of it. It has lost completely. Original point is completely forgotten. I know how many of them have done, puja to Mahalakshmi today. You stand in the queue, buy gold and keep it in the house. And you think gold will grow. What is interesting is that's what you have been doing for the last generations. Years you have been doing. What has happened? You never got anything. That itself is a proof. Still we will not learn. Gold price also increases. Increased price, inflated price, you go on buying. So sad. Anyway, just, I was on call before the class. The fellow was asking me, I wanted to buy gold today. And the amount he was quoting was quite a substantial amount. He says, I wanted to buy. Anyways, that's why I remembered. Otherwise, I have nothing to do with all this. At least next year, remember to do that. Distribute. Even if you cannot afford to distribute gold, at least distribute curd rice. Can't you prepare curd rice and make 5 packets and give it to 5 people? At least that you can do. That's the beauty of this system here. You don't have to be very rich for you to practice. Even curd rice, if you cannot afford to make, at least give, buttermilk. Can't you make 5 glasses of buttermilk and give to a few people? Just get out of your house. You will find people walking up and down. You're walking up and down, give it to them. At least next year, try to do that. Continue.
Page 312, second paragraph. Human beings are caught up in both intrinsic and extrinsic illusions in their experience of the world. The world appears to you as a pluralistic phenomenon of things and beings, as an infinite expression of time, space, and causation. But the entire world is nothing but Brahman. Brahman alone exists. But you see a world, not Brahman. Like the boy seeing a snake and not the rope. You see a world where there is Brahman. That is the intrinsic illusion. In the same phenomenon, there is an extrinsic illusion as well. Brahman is said to be eternal, all-pervading, infinite. You find these properties in the world as well. The world seems to have come from eternity and going into eternity. It is all-pervasive, and its chain of causation runs into infinity. Thus, the world also appears to be eternal, all-pervading, infinite. You see the properties of Brahman clearly reflected in the properties of the world. The medium that has caused this reflection is the world itself. The moment the world appears, the three aspects of an extrinsic illusion show up. The two sets of properties and the medium all appearing at one time. That is the extrinsic illusion. Brahman is the one reality existing everywhere at all times. Brahman is Atman, the supreme self within. It is ignorance of Brahman, the ignorance of self, that projects the two illusions. The non-apprehension of self causes the misapprehensions of the world. You do not see the supreme reality. Instead, you see the world. You also see the attributes of reality in the world. The solid seeming world is a play of the illusions, a meaningless projection. Strive hard to get out of these illusions you are lost in. Be it said to the credit of prevailing religions that they have helped in removing one of the two illusions. At best, they have succeeded in overcoming the extrinsic illusion, undoubtedly approached the reality, but that is not reaching the reality. Vedanta takes you well beyond that, removes not only the extrinsic but the intrinsic illusion as well, provides you with the knowledge of the supreme self within. Both the illusions disappear. You apprehend the ultimate reality, merge with Brahman.
So this is the illusions playing together. There is this extrinsic illusion and intrinsic illusion. And both these illusions together play is what he is explaining here. Now, the moment the world has appeared, exactly like the moment the snake has appeared, along with the appearance of the snake, all the associated problems also emerge. The moment the snake disappears, along with the disappearance of that illusory snake, the problems associated with that illusory snake also disappears. There is no necessity for you to put in any specific effort to get rid of the problems of the snake. Similarly, along with the appearance of the world, there are certain associated problems comes along. The moment the world disappears, the problems associated with world also disappears. I don't think I have to go back to the explanation of what all the problems associated with the world. Right. The problems of samsara. You're all very familiar with it. Right. You all have tremendous wisdom on that, I suppose. Not just knowledge, we have wisdom, experiential wisdom we have. Not theoretical knowledge we have this experiential one. Now, in this one, what is so interesting you need to remember is the rope is not doing anything to create the snake, or the rope is not going to do anything to dissolve the snake. Rope is not going to come and tell you. Rope is not going to come and assist you to dissolve the snake. The rope just exists. That's all. So what is to solve the problems of samsara? Vedanta says you cannot keep the world alive, real, believe the world to be real, and then try to solve the problem. That's impossible. It's exactly like trying to keep the snake real, trying to solve. You can never solve it. So first thing Vedanta gives is you dissolve the snake first. You dissolve the world first. And then Vedanta says, if there is a problem, come to me, I will help you. After dissolving the problem of snake, after dissolving the snake, if at all there is any fear of snake, let us deal with it. So all that you have to do is what? How to dissolve the snake? All that you need to do is get on to your right perception. See it properly. This is all the masters are going on saying. They go on saying this. See it properly, see it properly. And what is so interesting here is that vision cannot be transferred. That is the tragic part of it. The vision of the masters cannot be transferred to us. That's what Krishna in the Gita says. Ya pashyati, sa pashyati. Whoever sees it, sees it. If you see it, you see it. You cannot transfer. You can keep blowing your lungs out, saying it is not snake, it is rope. It is not snake, it is rope. It is not snake, it is rope. But the boy will go on saying what? All that you are saying is okay, sir, but still, first throw the snake out. First, let's kill the snake. Bring the stick. He says, now I'm saying there is no snake. How are you going to kill it? How are you going to capture it? There's no need to capture. There's no need to. All that you have to do is what? Just go and see. And what is interesting is the boy is seeing something there. Similarly, you are seeing something outside. And that something, you call it as world. The Guru calls it as Brahman. You're also seeing something. The boy is also seeing something. That something you are calling as rope, he is calling it as snake. Similarly, we are seeing something. We are experiencing something. What we are experiencing, we are calling it as world. What you perceive, what you feel, what you think, all that forms your experience. You are experiencing something, and that something you are attributing, you are calling it as world. He says, no. What you are experiencing is not world, it is God. It's not world. So what you have to do, first remove the misunderstanding. The misunderstanding is the extrinsic illusion. Extrinsic illusion means misunderstanding, the snake. Non-apprehension is intrinsic illusion. So again, going back to the same example, rope exists, you non-apprehend the rope, then you misapprehend the rope. Existence of rope, non-apprehension of rope, and misapprehension of rope. when there is this non-apprehension, that is referred to as intrinsic illusion. Another name for that. Then there is a misapprehension. The misapprehension is, in this case, it is a snake. So this misapprehension is what is referred to as extrinsic illusion. So once you gain that knowledge of what? Once you start investigating the snake, you gain the knowledge of rope. Right? Knowledge of rope is going to do what? It's not going to be, it just reveals. It just exposes. That knowledge doesn't create a rope, it only exposes, it brings it to your cognition. You're able to cognize now, you're able to perceive, you're able to understand. You gain the knowledge of the rope. After seeing the rope, what will you do? Imagine the boy, in our example, the boy is saying snake, 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 and he sees the rope. First reaction of that boy is going to be what? One of embarrassment. The first reaction of the boy is going to be, or that of embarrassment. He is not going to say, see, there was a snake, now that snake was. He says, there's never a snake. There's always only rope is there. In fact, he doesn't even have to say there is always only rope. I thought there was a snake. Now I have understood what. He will not say there is a rope. He will say there was never a snake. It's not that there was a snake. Now the snake is dead. Now the snake has got transformed itself into a rope. How can snake become a rope? Not possible. Same way, a rope also cannot become a snake. That is also not possible. So the moment he recognizes the snake, recognizes the rope, he will not say, I'm seeing the rope now. He'll say, Chai. He'll feel shy. He'll feel embarrassment. And he will be laughing at himself. That laughter is very different from other laughters. That is the statue you will find, laughing Buddha. Buddha is sitting and laughing. Of what? He's laughing about what? He's laughing about himself actually. Exactly like the boy. After waking up from the dream, you say what? Dream never existed. It is not that I have been there, now I have come outside. You will never say that, isn't it? You will never say, earlier I was there. Like yesterday, I had been to Delhi and I came back from Delhi. That is not what you say about the dream. You say what? Never a place like that, sir. Vedanta says, wake up. But what is interesting is, don't say, when you are in the dream, don't say that I am waker. In the dream, what are you? Dreamer. In the dream, you are not waker. After getting out of dream alone, you are waker. Till then, you are a dreamer only. Don't say, now I have become, I am a waker. I am a waker. Now don't keep saying that. That's what people do in the name of, spiritual training and all that. So the boy, the moment he recognizes the rope, first reaction of his is he would not feel elated. He will feel shy. From where that shyness comes, he starts recognizing his own ignorance. And he just laughs at his own ignorance. That's all. That is a proof that he has seen the rope. Because if I cannot lend my vision to you, nor can you lend your vision to me, isn't it? If you cannot lend your vision of rope to that boy, what is the proof that you will have that the boy is actually seeing the rope? He might simply say, because you have been vehemently, adamantly saying, just to appease you, he says, yeah, correct. There is a rope only. Okay. And he goes. Which is different from actually seeing the rope. No? What is the proof? The proof of him seeing is this, is his behavior, what he does after that. If he says, I am seeing the rope now, we don't believe that. We don't trust. We'll say, no, this guy there's a good chance he is simply saying something. What he should say actually. Now you don't have to memorize that and say, okay, now after, realization, I will also go out and tell everyone. There is never a world. There is no world at all. There is no world at all. Now don't go on to tell. That's what. Whatever you go to a guru, before you make any statement, he will say you are wrong. No matter what you are going to say. You go and tell him world is illusion, he will say you are wrong. You say world is real, he will say you are wrong. You say world is unreal, you are wrong. You are the greatest guru, he will say you are wrong. You are the most ignorant person I had met in my life, he will say you are wrong. I am really stupid, sir, he will say you are wrong. I am very intelligent, sir, he will say you are wrong. No matter what you are going to say, he will say you are wrong. Why? There has to be a proper proof. What is the proof? He should feel embarrassed. There will be an embarrassment. That embarrassment will express as laughter. That embarrassment will not express as shying away and running away. See, you feel that embarrassment will express as a hearty laughter. You don't start all that at home. Right? It'll take you to Nimhans. Now they say that, I am also going to do a belly laughter. Don't start all that. Don't try to fake it. See, 99.99% of all this is faking only. There's no authenticity to it. And always fake will look much better than the original. You know the law. The one who fakes, the one who, that mimicry artists, have you seen? Those who do that mimicry will speak better than the original fellow. See, and they will be much more engaging and entertaining than the original person. When a mimicry artist speaks, a mimicry artist speaks like Rajinikanth, that is far more engaging than actual Rajinikanth speaking. That is the law of mimicry, mimicking, of faking. Don't try all that, please. Now, having explained what is this, he moves on to the next topic. Before that, there is a quick question. So, is Maya somewhat like the idea or concept of Rasa Leela? The Rasa Leela that you are experiencing is Maya. That is the connection. See, Rasa Leela is not explaining Maya Tattva. Rasa Leela explains something else, intellectually. And strictly speaking, Rasa Leela is not to be intellectualized. See, don't try to analyze Rasa Leela, because you cannot analyze Rasa Leela intellectually, not possible. If you analyze it, the whole beauty is lost. It's like every food, there's a way to eat. See, if you don't eat it in that particular way, the taste is lost. Modaka, let's say, for example, Modakas, Modakas. You are supposed to eat how? Take the whole thing and put it in your mouth. See, you can't say, first I'm going to eat the outer layer and then I'm going to eat the inner layer. You can't cherish, you can't enjoy that. There is a way of eating. Similarly, when you are seeing a painting, you are supposed to see the beauty of the painting. See, the perception of beauty there, that aesthetic, they say, no? You can't bring a mathematical equation for it. There is a mathematical formula I'm going to develop. I'm going to write an algorithm for beautiful painting. Any painting, if you want to paint a beautiful painting, all that you have to do is follow this algorithm formula. This many strokes with this much of pressure, and in this direction, in this particular combination of the paints on that canvas. You cannot create. That is not the way to see a painting. Similarly, Rasa Leela should be viewed not from the point of view of intellectual. Because intellectually, if you see, there is only one point that is being communicated. Between every thought, there is silence. That is all Rasa Leela is. What do you understand from it? Yes. Rasa Leela is, between every gopi, there is a Krishna. One Krishna between two gopis. And they were all dancing the whole night. Now, what is it symbolizing, sir? If you ask me, symbolism there is only one thing. What is it? Between two thoughts, there is silence. And you can't have two different silences. There is no such thing called Chinese silence. There is no such thing called American silence. There is no such thing called silence. It's the same silence everywhere. Therefore, there is only one Krishna. But gopis were all different. What are the gopis? Gopis are all different thoughts. Different thoughts gushing out in your mind. The mind which is ignorant. That's why it is night, darkness. In the night, in the ignorance, your mind shoots out various thoughts. Between the thoughts, there is silence. The pure consciousness is there. The pictorial representation of that is Rasa Leela. but you will lose the whole beauty of it. See, the entire beauty of Rasa Leela is lost. Rasa Leela is given for people who are of devotional in nature. This is given to people who are devotional. Now, if you try to make it rational, it won't work. And don't try to make it social also. Now, immediately you make it into social one. Now, remember, this is not social. That is what we people never understand. Bhagavatam is not a book of social studies. See, Krishna's life was not accounted by Vyasa, the same author. He accounts Krishna's life in Harivamsa. He gives accounts of Krishna's life in Mahabharata, account of life in Srimad Bhagavatam. None of these books were given to you as book of social. If you look at it the social way, they are far more mature than our society today. All Krishna's life, what was he doing in Vrindavan? He is collecting all the kids of Vrindavan. They form a group. They go to every house and steal butter, curds, and they all know that. Who's stealing? Krishna is the head of the team. But Balram also part of it. Other kids also form part of it. Imagine today, in our current society, a group of kids. Now we have in this apartment, there are about 70, 80 kids are here. Imagine those kids were to plan and scheme and steal from houses. What we would have done? Prosecute the parents also. File a case on the parents and file a case on the school, file a case on the association. Those people didn't do all that. You see, they were cherishing that. They're cherishing that. Is that a mature society or we a mature society? I'm not saying you should go out and steal. Okay, immediately don't say, oh, Ishwaran, do you mean to say that we should all go and steal? Now, in your own house, your child were to steal 2 modakas from this one, what do you do? Beat them black and blue. Kids will play pranks. That's what the kids' life is. Take it that matured manner and lead them. They will grow. They will outgrow that. See, we cannot do that. Is that a mature society or we a mature society? Now, we are not discussing social. You see, if you want to discuss social, we'll have a separate class one day on that. Rasa Leela is not to be studied philosophically, nor it should be studied socially. It is given to people who are devotional. And devotion is unknown today in the world. There is no such thing called devotion today. And we keep saying, in Kali Yuga, devotion is the easiest way. What you people don't understand is when these people say easiest way in that Yuga, that means it is not possible to be there in that Yuga. That's the most difficult thing to do in that Yuga, that part. And we think devotion is very easy. Rasa Leela is not Maya. If at all you want to connect it to Maya, you can say the Leela that you are experiencing. But factually speaking, it's not Leela for you. The snake that you are seeing is Leela of the rope. That way you can take. But I would prefer don't connect all these things. My personal recommendation is don't connect all that. Particularly from the episodes of life of this great men. And these great texts like Bhagavatam, don't touch. Because there are many hidden things there. Those hidden things will get revealed to you. And hidden things are not supposed to be revealed. If you say that, it looks ugly. It should not be said. It should be understood. If you say that and then there's no meaning to it, then it is so flat, so local. Without saying, you should be able to see that. Then it is Bhagavatam is of that type. And Rasa Leela appears in Bhagavatam. Rasa Leela is not appearing in Mahabharata. So don't get into this analysis, connection. Right. Continue.
Self-realization, God realization, comes in two stages. The earlier is partial realization known as Savikalpa Samadhi, and the final is total realization, Nirvikalpa Samadhi. A spiritual seeker attains partial realization when he removes the extrinsic illusion alone. In that stage, he is on the verge, but not experiencing total realization, since the intrinsic illusion still lingers. When he sees divinity in every object and being all over, in a sinner or saint, he sees God alone everywhere. He experiences the unifying divinity in the diversities of the world. No divisions, no demarcations, no denominations, only divinity. But the duality still remains. His individuality is there to recognize divinity everywhere. It is the state of partial realization. Vedanta takes the seeker beyond the state of partial realization to total realization of the Supreme Self by overcoming the intrinsic illusion as well. To Nirvikalpa Samadhi. In partial realization, the seeker is in a state of duality. He has no doubt brought the entire pluralistic phenomena into a single mass of divinity. He finds God all over, but then there is the duality of himself and God. He sees God different from himself. And when he realizes the Supreme Self within, his individuality merges with divinity. The intrinsic illusion also vanishes. He becomes one with God, attains total realization, absolute enlightenment.
Now, having understood the play of these two illusions, he's giving us how do we get out of that illusion. And the getting out of this illusion or helping us to get over, transcend the illusions is the agenda or the purpose of all religions. So people ask, what is the role of religion, sir, in life? The role of religion, the purpose of religion is to help us to get over the two illusions. And he says that's what all religions talk about. Because all religions talk about that one reality. But then there is a difference between all religions and Vedanta. What is the difference? All religions helps a person to transcend the extrinsic illusion And that's it. Only Vedanta helps a person to transcend the intrinsic illusion also. There are two types of illusions playing. What is it? Extrinsic, intrinsic. Extrinsic means three things are existing. Three means plurality. In Sanskrit, they have three things: singular, dual, plural. In English, we have only singular and plural. There is no dual. Ancient religions had that. Ancient languages had that. They had this idea of dual. One, two, more than two. If there is one, it is called singular. Two is dual. If it is more than two, it becomes plural. So what we are experiencing in the world is plurality. So all religions help us to transcend the plurality and get into duality, which is known as Savikalpa Samadhi. Samadhi means intellect, buddhi. Samadhi means balanced buddhi, equanimous. That's called a samadhi. And then we have vikalpa. That vikalpa is prefixed with two things: sa vikalpa and nir vikalpa. That is actually ni vikalpa. Sa plus vikalpa is equal to savikalpa. Ni plus vikalpa is equal to nirvikalpa. Vikalpa means distinction. Sa vikalpa means with distinction. Ni not. Not distinction. Samadhi. Balance of intellect with distinction is Savikalpa Samadhi. Without distinction, balanced intellect is called Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Just the word meaning, that's all. And the word meaning itself will explain to us the whole idea. Becomes easier for us. What is it, sir? Now what we are experiencing is the world. Snake. What is a snake? The snake is the world. What is the definition of the world here? We have been giving very many meanings to the word world. In this context, we give the name Nama Rupa, names and forms. Remember the example that I gave you, pot. Pot is what you are experiencing. Pot is not what it is. What is pot? Pot is nothing but name given to it in English language. Isn't it? In Hindi, you don't call it as pot. Those who don't know English, those who know only Hindi, they call it as matka. Right. The person who speaks Tamil, he says Panai. Pot is different, Panai different, matka different, gata different in Sanskrit. All this is different names. Now each one gives it a different name. And then the form also changes, isn't it? Name and form. That's all. For that particular form, I'm giving it a name. But what is actually there is what? Clay. Right? So, what is world? World is nothing but Nama Rupa. Don't bring in this Dvandvas, pairs of opposites. That's not the term we use here. Right? Here we use the word. World is equal to Nama Rupa. Names and forms. There are very many names, very many forms. All that we are experiencing is many things. Therefore, there is a plurality. What is plurality? Three things should exist to claim plural. Right? What are the three things? One is the perceiver. The second one is the perceived, which is the world. There is a perceiver and there is a perceived. Seer and seen. And beyond that seer and seen, there is a creator who created this world. This is what we live with. Forget about whatever we discussed about illusions and all that right now. What we live with is, I am there, I am seeing the world, and this world I am experiencing, yes, multiplicity, different things. Names are different, forms are different, everything is different. But all that is grouped under one category called perceived. Then there is a third element. The third element is, there is someone who created me and created the world. The third element is born only after you have built, after you have the access, after you have an equipment called intellect. Till the dawn of the intellect, there is no third element. There are only two elements. As far as animals are concerned, there are only two elements, no? Seer, seen. The lion says, the tiger says, I am hungry, I see a zebra, I eat that zebra. That's it. Seer, seen. Perceiver is the lion, the tiger. The perceived is the zebra there. Same way. But as far as the lion and the tiger, there is no idea of the third element. Remember, after the birth of the third element alone, there is human evolution happens. What is that? The primitive condition of human intellect is referred to as age of perception. Very primitive condition. You just see, that's all. You just keep gazing around, that's it, nothing else. Then they started making connections to the perceptions. This perception and that perception gets connected without any logic. There's no proper connection, but there is an attempt for a connection is being made, which is far superior to the first condition. In the first condition, every perception is experienced and left. That's it. That is called the age of perception. Human evolved further. The further evolution is the age of superstition, we call it, where things gets connected without any logic. I change the window in my building, my business growing. Now, window is not going to be deciding the business of yours, isn't it? This is called age of superstition, which is definitely better than the age of perception. See, it is a secondary stage of human evolution. The third stage is where we start making proper connections. The cause and effect gets connected with proper observations, reasoning, deduction, inferred appropriately, using proper reasoning with us. That is the age of scientific inquiry. Beyond that age of scientific inquiry is the age of contemplation. Humanity enters into the age of contemplation only when you are able to go beyond the age of scientific inquiry. Right? Is where you start seeing something beyond. Is where you postulate a possibility of a creator. And then you inquire. And then you start. You postulate and then you start your inquiry, and come to a conclusion what? It is not the creator who is responsible for the creation. Then what is the cause of creation? Is the Maya. Illusion is the cause. This is conclusion, remember. But the starting point of inquiry is what? This ability to posit, ability to hypothesize. So you hypothesize the presence of God is what is technically known as the part played by the subtle intellect, Sukshma Buddhi. Buddhi of human beings are classified into two, Tikshna Buddhi and Sukshma Buddhi, gross intellect and subtle intellect. Gross intellect operates in the terrestrial realm. Subtle intellect starts postulating the possibility of a transcendental. And that is what happens. So the moment that is done, what happens? There are three things created. What is it? One, I am there. Two, the world is there. Three, there is a creator. Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara. These three come into existence. That is the state of plurality. From that state of plurality, all religions help you to transcend the extrinsic illusion. What is transcending the extrinsic illusion? From plurality, you come to duality. Now there are no three things. There is no me, world, and God. There is me and God. See, The totally ignorant fellow, he says what? There is only me and the world. There is no God. Okay. When you are totally lost in the world, when you treat the world to be real, and that's it, nothing else. Sir, I am here, world is there. You don't bring in all this nonsense. These are all unnecessary things, he says. No. What is happening here, sir? I am there, world is there. Then he postulates, using his subtle intellect, the existence of God. To a large extent, most of us can come to up to this stage. Right? I would even say a vast majority. Even though I have not done any research on those things, but we can take it for granted. 51% of humanity believes in the existence of God. You can say, yes, sir. Then what happens? Only problem is, who is that God is the fight. I say, I don't care about that part. First thing we say is what? There is God. Who is the creator, protector. He is the one who created us. He is the one who is protecting us. He is the one who is going to be destroying the whole thing. He is the one who dissolves the whole thing. And then he will decide what to do. Everything is up to him, up to his will, etc. But there has to be a God. So there are three things. So he starts with duality. Then what happens? Along with the birth of the subtle intellect, from duality, he goes into plurality. What is plural? This. Now, what religious say is, they help you when you practice the prescribed the disciplines given out by various religions. What will happen? You will fall back to duality. You started with duality, you moved into plurality, and then you will go back to duality. When you are going back to duality, this duality and the original duality is not one and the same. What is the difference? The difference is this. In your original duality, you, world, that's it. Now what is it? You and God. World is taken out of equation. There is no more Nama Rupa experience. The entire Nama Rupa was amalgamated into one mass of divinity. But then there is still a duality. What is it? I am different. God is different. The divinity is different. That difference will exist. Only with that knowledge of Vedanta alone, you will be able to transcend the duality also. And don't say singular again. You say, no. You transcend the duality. Then what does it serve? Don't say single. They say non-dual. What is that now? Ekameva advitiyam, says the Upanishads. Ekameva, only one, without a second, confirms it. Dvayam. Dvayam means two. No. No two. Non-dual. That is transcending this intrinsic illusion, which is referred to as nirvikalpa samadhi. Savikalpa. Even then there is a distinction. What is the distinction? I am different from God. That distinction is still there. That distance is still there. That division is still there. When you go to nirvikalpa, what is happening? Even this distinction disappears and you merge with one. The distinction disappears, there is only one. That one is without any second. So therefore it is referred to as this. So from plurality, you go to duality. When you are in plurality, you are caught up in extrinsic illusion, which means you are caught up in this nama rupa, the world of nama rupa. Then using the spiritual disciplines, the religious disciplines, you get over this plurality, you get over this extrinsic illusion, you get into duality, which is referred to as Savikalpa Samadhi. But now you are in what? You are still in duality, which means you are still caught up in this intrinsic illusion. What is still caught up in intrinsic illusions? Seeing only God. With the knowledge of Vedanta, with the help of this Vedantic Guru, you will be able to transcend this intrinsic illusion. You will be able to transcend the duality and get into non-duality. No two. That is nirvikalpa, no distinction. Non-dual means the transcendence of intrinsic illusion as well. So thus, Vedanta helps you to transcend extrinsic illusion, also intrinsic illusion. This is the advantage of Vedanta. All other systems helps you to come up to extrinsic illusion, and finally you have to turn to Vedanta to help you to get over of this intrinsic illusion. So from Nama Rupa, from plurality to duality, from duality to non-duality. Moving from plurality to duality is called transcending extrinsic illusion, referred as Savikalpa Samadhi. Transcending from duality to non-duality is what is referred to as Nirvikalpa Samadhi, where you have transcended this intrinsic illusion as well. Right. We'll see a few more points are there with Savikalpa and Nirvikalpa. We'll see that in the next class.